So unless you've been living under a rock for like the past 24, 48 hours, then you know that Nintendo has finally entered the mobile market. Now, I'm like 99% sure that this was just done because there was continuous pressure from the shareholders on the bigwigs at Nintendo that they really need to push out mobile gaming, get into the mobile market, and all this other stuff. And I guess Nintendo finally caved in. So here we get into the details. We know that Nintendo has a partnership with Dana. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce the company name. So they're in a partnership with Dana. They both kind of have shares in each other's companies right now. Nothing too significant, but you know, the fact that there's literal investment in this says something. So from what we know so far, the games are going to be primarily developed by Nintendo themselves. It makes sense because their IPs are going to be up for use. Their IPs are what's going to be looked at, and if it looks bad on mobile, then that will definitely turn people off from the full-fledged handheld or console version. So Nintendo's going to be mainly in charge, but they are going to co-develop with Dana, so there is going to be some co-development going on there between the two. But Nintendo will solely be in charge of the microtransactions. I think that's set in stone. And Nintendo, for DLC, has been pretty good. Pretty good. Some of it's been questionable, but for the most part, Nintendo's pretty good with like their DLC on the 3DS and the Wii U. So it's nothing to be too concerned about, in my opinion. So these games come out later this year, and Dana actually believes that they're going to hit a point where they'll have 100 million daily users that are active with these games. That's a crazy number. I don't know, it seems like a stretch right now, but you take in consideration that, you know, pretty much everyone in, you know, modern world has smartphone or tablet or some combination of the two. I don't know, maybe. I can't say right now. Now, as for which IPs can be used, it's up in the air. Anything's fair game. So I don't know exactly, but I do expect to see a lot of Mario and Pokemon. They're big faces. I expect to see those. You know what? I'll get into a little later what I expect to see. Let me just go ahead and get the facts out the way first, and then I'll throw my opinions out there. So this partnership that Nintendo has with Dana is also going to come with a membership service that's going to replace Club Nintendo, and apparently they're going to have some way to connect all these devices. They're going to have some way to like connect Wii U, 3DS, you know, like your PC web browser or whatever software they're going to come out with it, and then the smart devices. I don't know how they're going to do it, but that they plan to unify all of this in their new membership service. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm very cautiously excited about their new rewards program. Club Nintendo, it was really cool, and then it just like kind of later years it just kind of like flopped. And now that they're getting rid of it, they're trying to get everyone to spend their coins, so they're coming out with all this cool stuff. It's like, yeah, but hopefully their new service is pretty awesome. I'm, like I said, cautiously optimistic. So now I got some of the basic facts out of the way. Let me go ahead and throw some things out there, some food for thought for you guys real quick. Now, there's, like I said, probably a lot of pressure from the shareholders to push Nintendo to make this decision. But, you know, it's like everyone's been saying, look around you nowadays, you know. Kids don't, you know, whip out their Game Boys or 3DSs. I mean, there's a fair amount that do that whip out their DSs, 3DSs. But mostly for, like, the average schmo, especially over here in America, you see smartphones, you see tablets, you see little kids, like little kids, I'm talking like 3, 4 years old, playing on smartphones and tablets. It's honestly convenient for the overall family because mom, dad has a smartphone, mom, dad might have a tablet, you know, little Jimmy, Timmy, whatever people name their kids nowadays are playing with their parents' smart devices, or maybe their parents buy them their own smart devices. I mean, that's crazy, but, you know, whatever. So kids nowadays, they're growing up playing stuff like Angry Birds, Candy Crush, Temple Run, whatever smartphone people play. They're growing up playing these games. They're not growing up like we did with, you know, NES or Game Boy, or some people older than that grew up with like Atari and other things. But yeah, they're not growing up with Nintendo anymore, and this is kind of a big deal. We all know how everyone likes to poke fun at Nintendo, how they're always, claiming Nintendo's kitty and for babies, blah, blah, blah. We've heard it all, right? But, I mean, to some extent that's true. Nintendo targets E for everyone. Like, you see a Disney or a Pixar movie, it's like rated G or PG because they want to broaden their audience. Anyone can go see these movies. Well, it's kind of the same logic behind Nintendo when they make their games. They don't want to limit it to just, like, a certain crowd, a certain, age group. They just want it to be something like everyone can sit down and enjoy. That's why Nintendo is seen as family friendly, because they want to be, because that's a big ass market. That's probably few of the reasons why they actually went ahead and did it. Now, to go on about like what games we'll see on there and how we'll see them implemented, honestly, it's not going to be that difficult. Now, don't expect to see like high intense like hardcore platformer on there. Don't expect to see no like Donkey Kong Country Returns on there. I wouldn't expect to see like New Super Mario Bros. On there. Trying to play those games with touch controls is pretty brutal. Trust me, I've tried it before. It's not fun. But what I do expect to see is more kind of like bite-sized handheld games. Like, honestly, your smart device is just a touchscreen. Well, we know Nintendo is very familiar with touchscreen gaming due to the DS, 3DS, and the Wii U, right? So Nintendo is no stranger to this touchscreen stuff. I mean, obviously, it's only one screen, but I expect to see some ideas that were like on DS, maybe some ideas that are on Wii U, to kind of transition their way over to a smart device. Nothing like too complicated, but something that's like really kind of in-depth and enjoyable. So I kind of expect to see stuff like, maybe puzzle games like Pushmo, Crashmo. I expect to see stuff like Kirby's Rainbow Curse, Canvas Curse, games like that. And games that don't really require you to have like perfect timing or precise inputs. Basically like RPGs. Yeah, RPGs. So I would also expect to see maybe something like, Advance Wars, Golden Sun, Fire Emblem. Those are perfectly doable on smart devices because you're not like trying to sit there and time your runs and your jumps. You're not trying to sit there and like shoot things precisely. You're just, kind of turn-based system. So that's definitely possible. For Zelda, if they put it on there, I expect to see something along the lines of like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. That could work on there. That'd be a little questionable to me, but that could work. If they try to put Mario on there, I don't see any like mainstream Mario kind of thing working, unless they do it like the Rayman games on smart devices, which is actually pretty cool. I do enjoy those. Unless they do it like that, I expect to see just like a bunch of Mario spin-off stuff. And then of course I expect to see stuff kind of like we've been seeing on the Nintendo eShop as far as like their like mini stuff has been going out, like Dylan's Rolling Western, something along those lines. I expect Game Freak and the Pokemon Company to come out with some of like the little Bejeweled crossover stuff that they've been doing. I don't expect to see anything too in-depth or serious on these devices. Honestly, I'm not too sure how I feel about this. Some people are going to say like this is the end of Nintendo. They're caving in. They're going the way of smartphones and smart devices, whatever. And some people could see it as Nintendo finally trying to keep up with the times, keep up with the current trends. Maybe a little bit, maybe a bit of both. Who knows, right? I'm not gonna lie. I'm skeptical, but I think it can work. If Nintendo plays their cards right, they could pull this off. Like I said, if they just keep it to simplistic, like little mini games, or maybe take ideas they had on the DS and kind of, twist them around, put them on smart devices, or if they do their turn-based strategy RPGs on there as well, that could work. If they had, I don't want to say like a full-fledged Pokemon game, but if they had just like some little mini like Pokemon game on there, that could work as well. I don't know. There's a lot of different ideas. There's a lot of different routes they can go with this. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Cautiously optimistic, and you guys should be too. Anyways, I think that's all I really want to cover for this video. I don't want to drag it on too long. Next video I upload is going to be about the NX, which will probably be a day or two. I just don't want to cram everything into one video. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what ideas you guys have. Let me know how you guys feel about this in the comment section. Leave a comment. If you like this video, you like my ideas, you like what Nintendo's doing, go ahead and hit that like button. If you can't stand no PyroTakun, if you can't stand Nintendo, go ahead and hit that dislike button. I don't care. Like I said, could be good, could be bad, but then again, what would I know? I'm just some guy on the internet.